Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next hour or so discussing ways of using dual special needs programs to grow your income as an insurance agent and insurance agency owner, but also give you some detail on where to locate and how to approach this population. It's a particularly vulnerable group of individuals within our target market. And is a keen market for us as well to make certain that we can approach them year round and do so compliantly, but in a fashion that makes good economic sense to us. You'll notice in the software package that there is a section for questions. We ask that you put any questions or comments you have in that area. We normally address many of the questions throughout the course of the presentation, but we want to make certain that you have the information you need to get full value out of today's presentation. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be posted on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel. I ask that you watch for some follow-up to come from us that will contain the link to that recording and other information as well. A bit of level set to begin about who Premier Marketing is. We are a national marketing organization founded in 1968. That's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform. We've got offices across the country, licensed in all states. We act as an insurance wholesaler working through independent insurance agents such as yourself through contracts at the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. We do so through a full portfolio of product that include the Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage, Med Sup, and standalone Part D prescription drug plans, but we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and final expense insurance, annuities, pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits that can make a difference for folks with special needs in special areas. The Medicare Advantage portfolio is a national portfolio where all the carriers, national carriers are there for you, along with some of the strong regional carriers in many markets that make a difference for you. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug programs. Our Medicare Supplement portfolio is very large, and we have programs set up in place to help you approach this segment of the market as well, much as where today we speak of the dual special needs programs, which are lower end of the income scale in this population. We see we need to address the needs of the entire population, and we do so through that portfolio that includes the Med Sups. When we look at the ancillary benefits and each of the categories, the national leaders are there for you as well to create not only additional revenue and marketing opportunities, but to satisfy the needs of our clients in each of these areas. When we speak of the Medicare market overall, we're looking at the burgeoning market, obviously, a near exponential growth based on the age of the individuals. But we find that a larger number of folks than in the past are deferring accessing their full benefits, either by not activating everything when they're first eligible or retiring at 65. And that can make a difference for us because, hey, it narrows the market to a degree, or at least changes it. But particularly when we deal with the dual population, we find that a number of those individuals may well be disabled, and they are partners in the Medicare population with 15% of the other people. 15% of the population is under the age of 65. Many of them fall into the category that we speak of today, and we want to make certain that regardless of the choice that they make for their coverages, we can assist them. Let's face it, choices, they don't have to take the Part B coverage. That's optional. Thankfully, most do. You see a portion of them who will self-insure for the balance of the medical expenses that Medicare doesn't cover. Sometimes they'll pick up a standalone Part D drug plan to cover at least partial cost of those medications. But we see people on the other end of the spectrum that we mentioned before that will take out a standardized, modernized Medicare supplement plan. But many people will bundle and pick up the Part C programs, the Medicare Advantage plans, where all the benefits are accessed through a singular company. This is a category that includes the dual special needs programs that we'll speak of and give you a little more detail in just a moment. When people do access Medicare originally, we see a pretty even split, and we see not only in these numbers here, a good portion going into Medicare Advantage that may well qualify for DSNP and have enrolled in a regular MA program, so it might behoove them to change out of that. But we also see a portion of them that will fall into the category of original Medicare only, because this includes the dual beneficiaries, the folks with Medicare and Medicaid, and it includes the folks that do have just original Medicare that may well qualify for other benefits, including dual special needs assistance. We also want to make certain that you're able to communicate properly with their population, particularly when we deal with the dual population. We want to make certain that we limit the use of acronyms and to properly communicate. But in order to do so, sometimes we need the definitions. And so part of the follow-up you'll receive is a link to this guide from the Medicare Learning Network that gives you access to a translator of sort of those acronyms. Dealing in the Medicare space, we have the different election periods that we deal with. We're obviously at this particular point in time in mid-February in the midst of the OEP, but a lot of the standardized election periods don't have a lot of bearing on the dual special needs products until that annual election, which acts as the fourth quarter SEP in a manner of speaking for these folks. Because these other special election periods that we see that many folks are eligible for, many of them deal with folks that are dealing with limited income and assets. Easy for me to say. But that gives us an opportunity to make certain that we are able to work this population, work with them on a year-round basis, because they're affected by the weather, special election periods, and everything else as well. We highlight this area of folks simply because they are particularly vulnerable in many cases, and like most Medicare beneficiaries, they're not looking at their benefits year over year. And we need to make certain that we're able to deliver the information that can help them with their decisions, because the category of folks we deal with in this space are some of the folks that are most affected by this situation. And then there are the population as well that, well, there's some of the folks that are dialing in off the telephone or television commercials saying, am I getting everything I'm entitled to? And they can be easily confused. And we want to make certain that we are assisting them in a manner in which they can properly assimilate the information we're delivering. They understand what we're speaking of. They understand the differences between the medications that are part of the programs they may have already been auto-assigned to, that we can help them with a change, or they may be in a program where the formulary has changed and they haven't reviewed their medications. Many of these folks, if they are properly aligned with the different assistance programs, may not see some of the challenges with the dollars that come into play. But keep in mind, low-income subsidy and Medicare savings plans, Medicaid themselves, don't necessarily do that review of medications to make certain that, one, they're on the formulary, and two, where they fall in the different coverages within those drug plans. The population, they're not using the government sources either. So we want to make certain that however we can to deliver the information they need to make a decision, we do so in a fashion that they can accept. A lot of times when we work this space, we're cognizant of the fact that many of the electronic tools there at our disposal can help us pivot from that inpatient to virtual presentation, or even approach some of the leaders in the community that have a lot of contact with this population on a virtual basis. We want to make certain, however, that we're able to do so, and that if the person cannot receive that information because of a lack of electronic means. They don't have the smartphone, they don't access the internet, or whatever the case may be. It's the same with the general population, perhaps with just a larger percentage of the folks that are affected that we're able to reach out and do what we need to do to help these people and to keep them on the books as well. They are becoming much more educated in the area, like the Medicare beneficiaries on a whole. Hey, the doctors have trained them, specialists, dentists, even churches have trained them to receive information electronically, but we need to deliver in a manner in which the folks can actually receive the information and understand it. So looking at dual special needs programs specifically, a bit of background really quickly on special needs plans developed by legislation throughout the years, almost a 20-year-old program within Medicare now. There are different types of special needs programs, the chronic special needs plans that we'll discuss on another webinar, the institutional SNPs based on where people live, that for the broker community in the most part is non-commissionable, or we can't offer the product even. But the dual special needs programs are those people that have both Medicare and Medicaid, or one level of assistance or another that might have a bearing in our particular market. I say that simply because there are programs in a limited amount of markets that will approach people that have partial assistance and make them whole through their benefits. So if that's of interest to you, we need to make certain that we check your area to see if such a plan exists for you in this subcategory. To enroll in a dual special needs program, the consumer must have Medicare Part A and be enrolled in Medicare Part B. They've got to qualify for some sort of Medicaid assistance, normally at a minimum of QMB, to fully access benefits to their full potential. They need to reside in the service area, and this population cannot have, in certain circumstances, end-stage renal disease, where certain exceptions apply. You may be thinking that, gee, John, that went away for Medicare Advantage plans. Not for all DSNPs. So we need to be aware of what we're doing in this space, and we're properly approaching the population. This is a program designated to help this population, and many of the benefits do so because they're aimed at the cause of a particular need. What really helps us on a marketing basis, of course, is even though this special election period was altered a bit a couple of years ago, they do qualify for a quarterly special election period, and their coverage begins the first day of the month after a completed application has been submitted. That's really important to us because it does a couple of things. It expands the market, but it also places a responsibility on us to make certain that these people that we are pursuing in this space qualify for that special election period. So working with carriers that are able to support you and verify that knowledge ahead of time can make a big difference in the overall satisfaction of the programs, of the people enrolling in the programs, but also to find out if they really qualify for the programs. We don't want to do the work for nothing, and this can be a very important component in our relationship with the carriers that offer these plans. Big market within the Medicare market as well. We have different statistics out there that will show that dual special needs beneficiaries represent 20% of the Medicare market nationwide. And you'll see that the population right above that, the near poor that qualify for help with prescription drugs only, make this a very large part of the available population that we can approach during lock-in. So something to really be aware of. You also have a segment within this population that really want to deal with an agent to direct them into a program and help them make a choice as to what is best for them. And that includes folks that may already be in a dual special needs program to verify that they have the plan that best suits their needs. little different than the television commercials that we hear so incessantly now, where I need to make certain I have everything I am entitled to. Well, they may already have that. It's a question of, is it the best fit based on some of the benefits and requirements within a particular program? So we're going to look at this from an overall view and make certain that we prepare for this segment of the market. And in doing so, we're doing so because we realize that some of those carriers that I mentioned, well, a bunch of them divide the market. But there are some key players that we need to have as part of our portfolio to not only, excuse me, locate the population with marketing assistance from the different carriers, but also a comparison of these programs. So as I mentioned before, we are helping them with the benefit package that best suits them. You have different pieces out there that can help you educate in this area as well. The different carriers are very good about putting out information that addresses this population. And you see across the country, more and more carriers becoming involved in this market and aiding in this effort. Sometimes we might think, well, gee, there's a whole bunch of competition in that area for this particular type of program, this one or whatever the program may be, and it makes it tougher. Actually, particularly in this area, it helps educate people as to what benefits are available in an area and can really aid us in the sales process. This particular piece that we're seeing right now is put out by United Healthcare through their Medicare Made Clear series, and it really helps explain the program. Other carriers have great support for this market as well. Another example here is a piece from Humana that speaks to being a dual eligible educator. So when you see these types of assistance programs, you know that these carriers are augmenting information out there for the population, but for us, they are helping us find the folks, properly address them, enroll them, and keep them in a program as well. So to begin, we need to find out where they are and what is available to them. In your particular market, using the plan finder on Medicare.gov, you can go into the system, locate particular health plans by a particular year, but then narrow down the focus or add to the focus in many cases by looking at the Medicare Advantage plans and bringing out the difference between standard Medicare Advantage plans, as illustrated in this slide, versus those that include special needs plans. So you see in the very same market, a larger number of plans that are available. This includes not only folks affected by the DSNPs, the dual special needs plans, but chronic special needs plans as well, all in the feeling of pure transparency. When you go into the program too, you'll see that these plans are designated up in the description of the program to identify them. Because otherwise you'll go, well, gee, ton of plans here, John. You just mentioned there's 63 of them. How many of them actually are DSNPs? This is what's going to tell you. It then gives us the opportunity, once we've identified that area, to go and locate this population. We can do so electronically. We can do so virtually. We can do so however you want to place it, where we're not actually going out into the community, particularly with portion of the contacts with the different sites where these folks visit. But those areas concentrate on where they eat, they sleep, they pray, they socialize, and access services. So a population that needs assistance with food or housing, or how do they deal with the people that deliver their care, be it the primary care physicians and specialists or other folks delivering upon benefits that they have within the community. You also see some folks that deal with other aspects of their life. And these are areas where we can then approach from an overall view and narrow in to make certain that we're addressing this particular population. So the food banks, you'll find many of the carriers offering support for camps at a food bank, as long as you do it properly and at the correct distance. You can stay in compliance through this program. And these are folks that will see a number of people that are low income, and that's how they are. You also see a portion of the population that may be the working poor, the people that are underemployed, not making enough money that can be viable prospects for these programs. Folks that have lost their job, some folks that are physically or disabled or mentally ill, and then of course the homeless. In each of these areas, it may bring out a need for a specific type of program, but it contains the population we're pursuing here. So these places are placed throughout the community. We can find them easily online through perhaps the use of foodpantries.org, where they'll give us the location of these organizations. As you go through and you, however, contract and certify for this population, and with every Medicare Advantage carrier that I'm aware of, they require a specific certification to address and offer these programs, but they will also give you the information as to what relationships that carrier may have with some of these sites as well, and how you can participate. If they haven't in your particular market, well, gee, there you go. Get some really cool information on this site about these particular outlets within the community to help the population in this area. So you have all of the contact information that you need to approach these facilities. It gives us then the opportunity to put ourselves into the community and work referrals as well. So people that are at food banks know other people that need the help. Perhaps some of them aren't even accessing the benefits of accessing a food bank, and we want to make certain that we can maximize our reach in this area, and doing so by the referral process can really help. Much as any time you go into the community and work with centers of influence, it's important for us to look at all layers of people that are involved in the process. So making certain that we pay attention to the people that are the gatekeepers within the community, making certain we're bringing value to them through our visits, and making them aware of the fact of our intent and how we're able to help people can make a big difference as to whether or not we're able to access the population through this venue. We mentioned that it's important to go to where they live as well. So looking at certain low-income housing, this perhaps is not an appropriate picture, this one a bit more. And they come in many different forms. You'll see subsidized housing in certain markets. You'll see housing that is pointed for the population, and it also may include the people that qualify for these programs and don't have those qualifications firmly in place yet. So being aware of what we need to do to help these people, give us a way of approaching the low-income housing sites by doing educational pieces with this population where they live. Many times these locations have meeting rooms to do just that, and can put us on the calendar. That gives us then another way of broadcasting our services and making certain that we're able to reach as many people as possible. I've always loved to do group meetings because you have multiple prospects in the same room, and the folks, well, gee, we tend to associate with people that are in a like demographic with us. They can really also then help other people that may not live at the location where we're giving the presentation, but help us reach out into the community through the referral process. Big part of this is we know these people are going to be in this target market, are going to reside in these areas. In addition to the food pantry site, we can locate some of these locations through a couple of different websites that are available to us at lowincomehousing.us or affordablehousingonline.com, a great way for us to do some of the prep work up front and set up group presentations. Lowincomhousing.com gives us the detail in any market, in any state, and can be very helpful in delivering that key contact information we need to begin the marketing process for these people. Sometimes that also includes non-traditional, in a manner of speaking, housing units too. So trailer parks are a great place to locate these folks, and working with the manager of these sites, well, it engages their community. It helps them with people staying within their community, and the website can help us locate them as well. We can do a variety of different type of events that can help us reach the population and engage us with the management within these locations that, hey, they may be the people that refer us to the folks that live in the community but haven't really reached out to some of our marketing efforts, but are willing to do so because they trust the folks that run the joint, so to speak. A great way to find the people that fit in any category, but particularly within low income areas, is working through faith-based organizations. And these people, I'm making them sound like they have horns or something, and that's not the case. It's an area then where folks that may not respond to other marketing outreach will speak to us and receive our message if they receive it from another source of truth, an area where they have faith in the delivery of that message. And many of these people then also give us the opportunity to visit with them at these locations, either at a camp or at presentations through these sites as well. And that also is a feeder source for referrals, not only for just this population, but for other programs that you may offer, be it traditional Medicare Advantage programs. That sounded kind of funny. Other Medicare Advantage or other programs or needs. You may be able to reach people that need your help for long-term care or final expense or other life insurance, or some of the ancillary programs that we mentioned earlier as part of the portfolio, dental programs of great interest. We have then different presentations that you can use for a group setting. Many of these places have set up virtual delivery systems too, because, hey, we mentioned earlier that the population is becoming much more comfortable in delivering and receiving information electronically. Well, they've been conducting services in that fashion and may have an avenue for us to reach out to their folks through systems they already have in place. We can help identify these centers of influence through churchangel.com, where they will help us find people in a particular market, zip code based or however it is, and you can sort by a number of different reasons to find a population that aligns with our target market, and do so with a subtle approach that offers support to the community, much like you would need to do with low income housing or even ingratiating yourself into a food pantry. We want to make certain that we are delivering events that are of value to the population, and do so in a fashion, well, it creates a need for our services across the board in the community with multiple products and in multiple locations, simply by the example that we set in dealing with people that need our help and are accessing it through their faith-based community. We also can deal with our provider partners that are part of networks within the carriers that we represent that offer a dual special needs programs. And we need to expand our vision in this area, because providers, they include not only doctors, but hospitals, dentists, other deliverers of care that are compensated by the Medicare system. They get paid for their services through Medicare. So that includes home health care folks, other caregivers that are part of a compensation structure through the government. However, in each of these areas, it's important to note that some of them may be part of one network or another. So that may behoove us to have multiple contracts with multiple DSNP carriers, or it may be folks that do not accept networks, and we can do some things with them to help reach the population as well. Working with doctors, well, there are different things that can make you much more successful with it. We do webinars specifically with marketing in this area, one coming up later this month, next month, anyway, as well. So it's a process that is, in many cases, a way to access people very quickly, but is also something that we want to approach in a fashion that allows us to create a relationship. So it's not a one-trick pony, in a manner of speaking. We're able then to mine the population for this segment of what we're looking for, and in doing so, establish a relationship and build the trust with these providers. So when people age into Medicare, or for other reasons, they may be new to an area and this is a new doctor to them, or a new specialist, a new dentist, whatever it happens to be, we then become referable for other prospects outside of the dual population. When we work with dentists, well, as a provider, this is an area of great need, and it's also an area that may not be as marketed as heavily or as competitively as doctors or specialists. So knowing how to approach these folks and making certain that they realize there's a population within the community that we can serve together can make a big difference. And carriers are being really aggressive in this area of approaching this population and delivering upon that marketing assistance that can make a difference for this being an ongoing relationship as well. It doesn't hurt to have standalone dental programs as part of your portfolio as well, because, well, we want to approach the full segment of the population being served by dentists, and that includes people of all income ranges. And this gives us then another market to reach into for other product, simply because of what we're doing within the dual special needs community. And then, of course, there's the old dependable, direct mail. You can find people in this population through direct mail. Many of the list vendors that we work with are telling us that at this particular time of the year, this is their most effective mail outreach. And in the words of Mark Twain, the reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. Direct mail still works. And this is the area in many markets that bring the best return as well. Whatever we do, we want to make certain that we're diversifying our efforts. We notice perhaps through all of these different segments that we've talked about is they apply not only to the dual special needs market, but to other programs that we offer as well. So much as where we're drawing in resources from different marketing initiatives, diversifying those efforts, it funnels out in a manner of fashion, in a diversified fashion as well. So there may be populations within the community that give us an opportunity to go into other areas. I mentioned within the dentist, we have a full gambit of income and assets of the folks that are accessing dental care, and it gives us an opportunity then to market through perhaps standalone dental programs, reach the community at large, and sell more and keep more on the books. Keep in mind too that it's important that as we diversify our efforts, when we look at what we're doing in a particular household, the more product that we have in the household, it doesn't matter if it's with multiple companies or not, as long as it's with us, with a singular agent, it drives up our persistency, our retention of product across the board, and helps us maintain that enrollee as a client within our book of business. Some of the reasons why you'd want to do these programs with us here at Premier, well, we have different grassroots campaigns that can help you deliver this population to your doorstep and make certain that we are doing so in a fashion that we can help you through our portfolio, our library, I should say, of marketing efforts to reach this population. And because it may be varied and it may reveal markets that weren't our initial intent of approaching when we got into the area, we may need multiple contracts. And that includes not only contracts with multiple dual special needs programs, because in certain markets there can be a variety available. It also brings out the point that we may need those ancillary benefits. Speak to dental, speak to cancer programs, look at the needs of the population outside Medicare health benefits into final expense, or perhaps in certain areas with long-term care or other programs that we can offer. And utilizing this software system, we create an agent profile. It gives us a place to store all of our information and electronically contract with carriers across the board. We also offer discounted E&O coverage for qualified agents. What's errors and admissions for qualified agents, John? What makes me a qualified agent? Well, you got to contract with us. This is different than being added to a blanket E&O policy by a marketing organization for just one program. This is a program that you purchase. However, it satisfies the requirement for E&O that's out there in the insurance world with just about every program, and it covers you regardless of whom you contract through and for what insurance product. A broad scale of coverage at very reasonable rates to make certain that you protect yourself in this area. We also offer discounted continuing education programs through our association with WebCE. We want to make certain that our licenses stay in play, and these programs allow us to do so at a discounted rate. We're also very cognizant of the fact that as an independent insurance agent, you create and maintain your own benefit structure. This is a program that allows you to pick up a modified guarantee issue disability income plan that you are paid a commission upon. So it's a great way to add to your own benefit structure as well. I mentioned this a bit earlier, but some of the things we see in a diversified marketing campaign means we are accessing different approaches and having help assistance on how to do that in different areas can be very, very beneficial to us. So we post the recordings to our different webinars that are on different marketing techniques, different programs, different carriers, whatever the case may be, on both our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel, so you can access those on a year-round basis. So if you're approaching any type of prospect within the medical community on a basis that needs a specific directive, this can help us do so. So we have the programs for marketing through faith-based organizations, marketing through provider partners, the community at large, making certain that you receive the full return on your investment through retail programs. They're all listed on these sites through past recordings. This is a tool that can be really, really helpful for you regardless of what segment of the Medicare population you're approaching. Our Medicare Center program is available without cost to our contracted agents. In the words of J.J. Walker on the commercials, it's free. Well, it gives you a universal access to 3 different quoting tools, powered by Connecture, Sunfire, and CSG, creates a repository, a CRM for your prospects and clients, so you can do reviews and market them year-round as well, but also gives you the tools to do so compliantly, where you can pick up that scope of appointment and store it for that 10-year period, receive it through a variety of mediums of acquiring it. But there's also a resource file within these programs or this program that can help you with sales scripts, other tools that are in there in that fashion. It gives you the opportunity also to bundle. There are certain circumstances where you will reach a person within the Medicare community that, hey, they don't make enough money, but they make too much money to qualify as a dual special needs plan recipient. They need help in other areas. How can we then make certain that the program that they're adamant is their best choice, that they're on, we can add to that program for specific needs. This is a great way of bundling in dental programs, bundling in hospital indemnity programs to make certain that we're covering the population completely and we are opening their eyes to our entire portfolio. Because while final expense is listed as one of these programs, that's one of those that you would have to do the cooling off period later, but it gives us then the groundwork to discuss those programs. And that opens the door for a overall review of benefits and gives us the opportunity to offer products in different areas as well. Medicare Advantage and prescription drug programs, well, their compensation, the max compensation set by the government. So there aren't necessarily additional incentives in that area, but many of the other programs that we offer, the ancillary products, Medicare supplement programs, other insurance programs, do periodically come with different carrier incentives that may qualify you for carrier trips. It may also help you qualify for different premier incentive programs. We want to make certain that you're aware of the availability of these extra pieces of compensation. So there's a extra special place on our website that helps you identify this area to make certain that you're receiving everything that you are entitled to. In addition to these different ideas as to how to reach out into the community and find these folks, we offer other means of generating leads that may include contact lists that are specifically created for you based on demographics that you direct on either a discounted or no cost basis. There are programs that you can still smile and dial. You can't for Medicare Advantage programs, and that includes DSNP programs, but you can do so through the use of, let's say, dental programs. Dental is an area of great need. It's a great way for you to fill your sales funnel for folks that have a specific need and then are placed within your book of business so you can contact them for other product as well. We mentioned a little bit about making certain that we help you maximize the community-based marketing programs, including those through retail, faith-based organizations, providers across the board. We have different approaches that are set for you that can help you approach this population. And as I mentioned just a little earlier, some of those are already recorded and available to you through our library of past presentations. We have many of these topics scheduled for the very near future for updated conversations as well. When you work in this space, particularly in the dual special needs area, many of the carriers that are offering these programs may be able to generate prospects for you as well. Many of them are pretty creative if they are one of the carriers that are entrusted, contracted, whatever, to deliver Medicaid managed care benefits. And having a relationship with these carriers can be of great value to us and give us the opportunity to get full assistance from the carriers that want this business as well. So making certain that you know of the agent managers with these different folks in your area can be a great benefit for you, and we like to help you in that regard. We do also have internet leads and direct mail support programs as well. We'll talk about those in a minute. A unique T65 locator that's available to contracted agents, and a system of referrals that help us maximize the number of folks we can speak to through a single lead source, I should say. And that is going beyond a Herb Tarlick pushy, who else do you know type of situation across the board, but subtly dropping hints in the marketing process, throughout the sales process, and in the service aspect of it thereafter can really help us find additional people to speak to. We have a pretty cool system that can help you that way as well. When we speak of the mail programs, the support that we have in that area, we have a two-pronged approach. Deeply discounted cost based on production, but you can qualify for this in two ways, through the health programs and through final expense. So an additional 2,000 pieces of mail on a monthly basis, should we qualify for it, can be done at basically half price in a manner of speaking. We do so through a list of preferred lead vendors. These folks are vetted. We want to make certain that the systems that they have in place support your efforts in this area. You'll find in this instance, these carriers do. And we also, well, we vet the letters that are being used. We want to make certain that we stay in compliance. We want the maximum return on that outreach, but we also want to make certain that we're doing so in a fashion that doesn't create a compliance issue. We also have the opportunity to utilize mail returns where we're not directing the entire mail campaign like we were in a situation where we're purchasing a 1,000-piece mailer. This is where a return has come off of a company generated mailer and have never been touched, and we're able to purchase them at varying prices. They do vary by season and by area to reach the population that we're looking for. So it's a great way to fill your calendar. It's a great way to make certain that you have a particular amount of returns, but it's also a great way for you to reach a particular portion of the population, and this allows us to do so. Those internet leads, they're faith-based, or pardon me, I got that faith-based in my mind because it's such a great lead source, but they're Facebook generated. And there are 2 campaigns, one for final expense and one for Medicare. These leads tend to be, well, you don't capture as many DSNP individuals with them. A lot of them are aimed at the Medicare supplement population, but they give us that opportunity to work this niche market being the Medicare market, huge market that it is, and utilize our referral skills to find people that qualify for these programs. That T65 Locator program, pretty cool. Contract with us, available to you without cost, downloads on your smartphone, and actually generates information in a particular community as to where folks turning 65 live, or areas in the insurance world that you can still door knock can be very valuable. Final expense, MedSup, you can even do it. Got to keep in mind, you door knock for Medicare Advantage or prescription drug programs, you might as well say, here, take my contract, because you won't have it for very long. That referral program that I spoke of, that's part of the entire sales and marketing process from beginning to end, also is very valuable in engaging your current book of business. And this may be people that know of folks that need your help with the dual population. So reaching out and mining your current book of business, it may well be stored in the Medicare Center CRM. To do so efficiently and effectively, well, it's a great way for you to generate leads in that fashion as well. We say all this and we run through these different programs because, hey, we want your business as well. We want to be referable for you. We want to help you set up these programs should you choose to make them part of your personal marketing program. It's important to note that many of these plans, you may already be ready to go and offer these programs. However, we want to make certain that if you are contracted with Medicare Advantage companies that offer DSNP programs, that you're fully certified, to make certain that it doesn't create a compliance issue, and in many instances, almost as importantly, a commission issue. Because if you're not certified in the particular area, you may well not be compensated for your activity. It, however, is a portion of the market that can be quickly put into play. Much of the marketing that we discussed today in finding this population reveals other prospects for us in other areas that are viable for our portfolio of programs. And we want to make certain that you know that you can engage this quickly, put it in play, and it'll help you overall as well. It serves not just one segment of the market, much as any marketing campaign can reach people of different areas of qualifications. This can help you in that area as well. So we'll check the questions box real quickly here to make certain that we covered what is out there, and it appears we have. So we want to make certain you know that if this is something that you're interested in, or you need more details, or hey, I'm ready to go, John, How do we get this underway? Well, if you are already engaged in conversations with a marketer at Premier Marketing, they can help you with this. You can reach them through their contact information through our toll-free number at 1-800-365-8208. They'll be reaching out to you as well. You can also reach out to us for more details through our website at premiersmi.com. Watch for the follow-up that will come to you by email. You can respond to that as well. And we can help initiate this process for you. Get it underway. Make certain that you are accessing prospects across the spectrum of the beneficiaries that we serve, and you'll see how they will interlace in many cases to aid not only this segment of your business, but your overall business as well. So until we're able to meet you again and give you that information, I want to thank you for the time that you spent with me here today. For those of you that are contracted and have done business with us here at Premier, I thank you for that business. For those of you that are considering doing so, I thank you for that possibility. But I thank you as well for listening today and making certain that we are able to deliver programs of value such as this. And they are available to you on our website in the agent resources area and are also on our YouTube channel, as I mentioned as well. So until we're able to talk again, I wish you good selling. Thanks so very much, and we'll see you down the road.